And I wanted just to sit down with you today, to kind of pick your brain on how you came up with the idea for the gym. Where are you from? Tell me about Mateo. And let me just tell you guys, man, one of the things I noticed when I came in, I watched Mateo. He was actually training at the same time with Andre Berto. And I think I recorded maybe 3 minutes of y'all hitting the bag. And I realized at that moment I would not fuck with you nor Andre. This motherfucker hands is so fast and he's so powerful. It's like shit. To watch it is super impressive. So I want to know, first and foremost, did you box or something, bro? Because your shit is you look lethal.
Bro, first and foremost, I appreciate you for even, getting me to come on your podcast and, being able to talk to you about, the facility, the brand, and what comes with it all, As far as the boxing side, I've been boxing since I was 12. I had a really big amateur background. As far as getting into the pros, I never really had that opportunity. But as an amateur, I worked with some of the greats, some of the best trainers in the world, traveled the world, lived in some countries that, bro, you don't even want to be in some of those places. It's crazy. So my life's been like a roller coaster ride on my boxing journey. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what also drove me to be able to build something like what I did today, because of all the discipline, all the heartaches that I went through, all the, going from Russia to Mexico to, training with Freddie Roach in LA and going through all that. Those experiences built me up to what I have today, So
yeah. So where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Sydney, Australia. I don't know if you can tell the accent, but it's pretty strong.
Yeah. And being from Sydney, you said that you are obviously you were an amateur boxer. How many amateur fights did you have?
Bro, I had at least 188 amateur fights. It
was fighting every day, dog.
No, well, we had a lot of competition. So when we start boxing at such a young age, usually you're thrown into little tournaments, you know what I mean? Golden gloves, silver gloves, Australian championships, junior Olympic games, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was pushed into it by my father, for discipline reasons. And I caught on to the sport immediately. Mm-hmm. Coming as an only child, not having any friends around, and I was also partially deaf as a kid. So I had a disability, and I had to try and find my way. And the only way I could find it was actually through boxing. I had to use other senses and to try and find something that, as a kid, it was like my best friend. It was my outlet, and that was my outlet. And that's why I gravitated so close to boxing, that it was just something that kept me on track for such a long time,
Yeah. Did you find boxing as a way to give you did it give you a level of self-confidence that you could defend yourself? I think that's something that, definitely for most people, just the certainty that I even feel now.
Yeah.
With knowing I feel very confident that I can handle myself even better now since I've been in your facility. Is that something that kind of really came a part of just being in the environment?
Yeah, it did. It taught me a lot about, challenging yourself. Being in that ring is not easy. Mm. And it taught me more the mental side of things rather than just the physical side of things, of looking good or trying to be, physically looking great. But really, it helped me mentally all the time. And at the same time, it was something that I thought to myself, you know what, it's a great way of me pursuing a dream, which was to become world champ one day.
Okay.
And getting into the Olympic team and getting a gold medal for Australia, because Australia never got a gold medal. So that was my goal. That was my ambition.
Okay.
And ever since I did that and having that motivation and challenge inside, it just sparked it for me. So I was always going into competitions, like I said. I always wanted to win. I always wanted to compete against the best around me. I want to be thrown into sparring competitions that, that were in gyms with other great fighters and, that were a lot older than me. I get the shit kicked out of me. But you know what? I came back the next time around and I was like, I'm gonna come back in. And when I did that, I found that thing inside of me that was like, there's that fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what boxing does. It brings the best out of you. It brings that, you know, that dog out of you. Like, you're like, damn, you push beyond limits. Because a lot of guys that I hung around as I was growing up, they'd be great and talented, but that dog would not come out of them, you know?
Right.
And then they give up easily and be like, oh, nah. Boxing, it will either hurt you, damage you, or it could bring the real best out of you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
one thing I found out since I've been boxing is it's the hardest shit I've ever done in my life. And that's coming from playing football, being athletic my entire life. The amount of energy that you expend in boxing is unbelievable. And I'm telling you, man, like the first couple weeks, man, I I didn't know if I was going to make it just because of just like how out of shape I was for starters. And the challenge it was to continue to be pushing when it's so physically exhausting. When you don't know how to throw punches properly, and you're like kind of like I was like, I was trying to stiff and not really knowing how to throw my punches. I was gassed after like 12 seconds, and it's like 3-minute rounds. I'm like, oh shit, I got another 2 minutes and 48 seconds left. I was like, oh shit, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I guess for me, like getting in the gym now and understanding like how exhausting and exerting it is definitely something that for me personally, man, I was like, it's excellent for getting people in shape. Yeah. I mean, I've been able to drop tremendous body fat, like get myself right in the last like 6 to 7 weeks being in the gym. But I didn't realize prior to coming to boxing how exhausting, how much energy that you're actually having to use when you throw those punches, and how much body that, like, bro, I started feeling shit that I didn't feel in years. Like, I'm like, why is my side hurting? Like, just because you're moving your body differently, you're doing all these different things.